It wasn't just any loud noise. The boom that shook my windows and made my plants rattle felt like a storm had hit. My poor cat darted across the backyard like it was running for its life, disappearing under the barbecue like it had just heard its name on a wanted poster. At first, I thought it was just some electrical surge, or maybe a firecracker too close to the fence. But then, I heard the unsettling hiss of something burning. I followed the sound, intrigued, like it was calling out to me, until I stumbled on it, a thick orange power cord draped lazily over the top of my wooden fence. It wasn't just any cord, it was plugged straight into my outlet, snaking over the fence and into my neighbor's yard. The plug was scorched, the cord itself had melted a little. That's when I realized this wasn't some harmless mistake. It was deliberate. My neighbor, Kelly, was a force to be reckoned with. She had a way of walking around like she owned the world, as if entitlement were her personal perfume. She lived next door with her husband, Greg, and their teenage son, who always looked like he'd just been told he wasn't the star of the show anymore. Kelly wasn't new to pulling stunts. Last holiday season, she had plugged in her extravagant Christmas lights into my outlet. She told me it was just for a day. That day turned into nearly 3 weeks. 3 weeks of blown fuses, sky-high electricity bills, and a fruitcake she handed to me with a passive-aggressive note that said, "Thanks for sharing the Christmas spirit." It didn't take long to realize that Kelly knew exactly what she was doing. Now, though, it wasn't just about Christmas lights. She'd taken things up a notch. The power bill had increased by nearly $150, thanks to her latest backyard pool party that had suddenly become an all-night affair. Living next to Kelly was like living next to a rule-bending bomb. She was the kind of person who would sketch out her property lines on the sidewalk and quote community rules like she had written them herself. Mostly because she was on the HOA board, though no one could remember voting for her. After my garden lights flickered again and my sprinklers rebooted for the 3rd time that week, I had enough. Armed with a flashlight and a voltage meter, I began surveying my fence line like some sort of suburban detective. And there it was. Kelly's extension cord, looped over my fence, plugged into my outlet, just like it owned the place. On the other side, her backyard looked like a Las Vegas club on New Year's Eve. I didn't yank the cord or make a scene. I calmly unplugged it, coiled it neatly, and dropped it back over the fence as if offering an olive branch. I wasn't trying to escalate things. Not yet. About 10 minutes later, Kelly was at my door, pounding like she was about to arrest me for a crime I didn't commit. "I saw what you did," she yelled. "Did I unplug my own outlet?" I asked nonchalantly. "It's on the fence line. That makes it shared property." She looked ready to take me to court over this. I blinked. "It's on the brick wall of my house. You know, the one your husband backed in a last summer and blamed on the shadows." Kelly scoffed. "It's just electricity. Not like you're using it." That was when I realized Kelly genuinely thought electricity was like air, free, shared, and available to whoever needed it. I didn't argue. I just walked inside and straight to my workshop. What Kelly didn't know was that I was a power systems engineer. I designed monitoring systems for a living. If she wanted to play games with electricity, she'd picked the wrong person. I pulled up my power logs, and sure enough, there were spikes every afternoon around 2:30 p.m., exactly when Kelly's inflatable pool toys kicked into action. Then there was the 2 a.m. surge. What on earth needed that much power at night, unless you were operating some shady operation? Still, I hoped it was all just coincidence. I set up cameras and waited. 2 days later, I caught her teenage son on tape, dragging the cord over the fence like it was part of his daily routine. He even waved at the camera. That's when I knew. It wasn't just Kelly. This was family tradition. I took the footage to the HOA. Their response? Technically, she's not altering her property. It's a gray area. A gray area? Stealing electricity is a gray area. Now, I realized that unplugging the cord wouldn't be enough. Kelly didn't care about polite boundaries. She needed to be hit with something she couldn't ignore. She needed to be scared straight. So, I created a breaker bomb. It wasn't a real bomb, but it was close enough. It was a loud, obnoxious, attention-grabbing deterrent that could be triggered by unauthorized power draws. The system included alarms, strobe lights, and glitter, plenty of glitter. It was programmed to send me a notification when she plugged in again, and when she did, the system went off with a terrifying bang. It worked. When Kelly plugged her cord back in the next day, my phone buzzed. Unauthorized draw detected. I watched with glee as the glitter bomb went off, flooding her yard with sparkles and flashing lights. Kelly screamed. Greg tripped over a deflating unicorn. The neighbors peeked out their windows. A kid on a scooter shouted, "Yo, backyard rave." Kelly ran over to the fence. Glitter stuck to her like bad luck. "What did you do?" she demanded. I sipped my coffee, smiling. "The sound of justice," I said. The police arrived soon after. Apparently, a neighbor thought it was a domestic dispute. I calmly showed the officers the footage, the logs, the device specs. They laughed and confirmed, "She's been using your power all along, ma'am." Kelly tried to protest. "He wasn't even using it," she argued. The officer sighed. "Ma'am, that's still theft." 15 minutes later, Kelly was cited for noise complaints and power theft. I thought that would be the end of it, but Kelly wasn't going to give up that easily. The next day, I caught her on camera again, this time sneaking around my yard with what looked like a hacked-together power strip. She was trying to dig around my fence for some way to connect again. I filed a cease and desist, delivered it personally to her door, and waited. For a while, things went quiet. Too quiet. Then, one morning, I woke up to a headline, "Neighborhood power struggle goes viral." Someone had uploaded footage of the glitter bomb, and it spread like wildfire. Kelly became a meme, the glitter bandit. She was everywhere. Reddit, TikTok, Facebook, even a podcast. Embarrassed, Kelly filed a formal complaint, accusing me of harassment and emotional trauma. The HOA's legal rep came over, looking amused. "She's hanging by a thread," he said. A week later, there was an HOA emergency meeting. They showed the footage of Kelly's outrageous behavior, her power theft, complaints, and fines. When the glitter bomb footage played, Kelly went from red to purple in a matter of seconds. She stormed out before the vote. The board stripped her of her position, put her on probation, and warned her that if she tried anything else, she'd face legal consequences. The next day, a for sale sign appeared on Kelly's lawn. I didn't feel completely victorious, though. A final parting gift from Kelly showed up, a power splitter wedged under my fence. It wasn't active, just symbolic. I built a new, quieter version of the breaker bomb, with voice alerts and motion sensors. When Kelly plugged in again, the voice activated, causing her to yank the cord out in panic. A few days later, the splitter disappeared, and moving trucks arrived. Kelly was gone. The neighborhood felt lighter, and I threw a barbecue to celebrate the peace. At the center, my retired breaker bomb was displayed, with a plaque reading, "In loving memory of Kelly's electrical ambitions." Later, a new couple moved in. They joked about the outlet, and I smiled, keeping the footage just in case. Peace isn't easy, it's earned.